Thanks for checking out our channel. What this video is going to be about is a repair video on a Gallagher Smartfix or fault finder. This is the old style. Gallagher's been making the Smartfix fault finder since probably the mid 90s, maybe late 90s, somewhere in that range. It's a good tester to have. It's a one for checking for faults in your fence. It works really good on units that are about 1 joule or bigger. It's less than a joule, then these things have a little bit harder time because you need that joule there to kind of help point the direction for the amps to point in the direction of a fault. The lower a joule unit is, the less amps and power it's got, so then it's hard to trigger the fault finding part of it. It might work, but it's a little harder to do. Plus, if you got less than a joule unit, you probably got a small fence, small areas, so these work really good on bigger pastures or bigger units with not so big pastures, but these are really handy little tool. So we're going to do a repair video on this one. This one doesn't come on at all. I don't know if it's just a battery or a board issue or what. Now the one thing about these testers, the best thing about the Gallagher brand of testers, there's other fault finders on the market. There's Speed Rights, there's Stay Fix, Zariba's got one labeled for them. Some other brands, they're all okay, but this is the only company I know of that makes their own testers, and they supply parts for this to fix it. So if it had been a Speed Right unit and it's more than a battery and it's broken for whatever reason, you throw it away and you got to spend another $100 and some odd on a new one. These can be fixed. Gallagher makes parts for their testers, so that's why I like them. You know, they supply parts, not just a throwaway deal. So this is our information is right there. You know, so if you need parts for your tester or parts for a fence charger or whatever, give us a call. Happy to help you there, but we're happy to work on it too. So let's get into this thing here. Alright, focus, you stupid thing. Alright, so it doesn't come on at all, and pushing the button doesn't come on at all. So we're going to pop the little pegs at the back here. These are just little dust caps, don't really have any function to it besides covering up the screws on the back. So we're going to pop them out. If you lose one, don't worry about it. They don't do anything. So I think even the newer ones don't even have them on there. The brand new style, I don't think they have anything on. I don't think they have them on there. I just flung one off somewhere. I don't have to find it. Come on, I don't want to lose these because the customer's got them on there. This is an older tester. It's hard to read it, but there's a serial number right there, that long number right there. First two numbers is 11, so it's a 2011. So this thing's 10 years old. Oh, there it is. A little cat. Now some of these have a square-headed screw, like these have those Robertson screws in them, the square-headed ones, and some of them have Phillips. They kind of went back and forth, you know, depending on what they had, I guess, in stock. But you need if yours got a square-headed screw, you need a square-headed screwdriver to pull the screws out. So I love these little testers. We've got one here. We use as much as I used to because our fence is pretty small. But I love the thing. It's handy. It's small. Fits in your hand. It fits in your shirt pocket. You know, some of the testers out there are about twice the size, and they take up a little more space. You know, you can't really carry them in your shirt pocket very well. You can't really put them in your pants pocket very well either. Come on, get out of there, screw. So there's the inside. There's the board. The covers off the side. We're going to pull this little black rubber gasket off. There's a little dirt on it. Not a big deal. See a little corrosion. Must have had it outside. See a little rust on it building up. So let's pop this battery out first. The battery hides right here underneath that little silver button battery. Get a little pocket knife or screwdriver and push the battery out right there. So I'm going to push it. So it pops out. Battery part number, you can get this anywhere. CR2032, or if it doesn't say CR22, it would say 2032 on the packaging. They're all same company, probably makes the batteries for all these places. Alright, so let's check this battery real quick, make sure it's actually bad or good. So it's just a little, it's a 3-volt battery. So get your meter out, put on DC volts, which symbol for DC is focus, you stupid remote thing. Is that symbol right there? The V with a little dotted line on it. Top side's positive, bottom side's negative, and we're reading can't see it, 0.4 volts on a 3-volt battery. So battery's no good. So that's trash. So let me go grab another battery. I stock these batteries. If you want one and you need one, just call me and I'll just send one to you for free. You know, because I buy these batteries in bulk, and it didn't cost me nothing for those batteries. So I'll be happy to just give you one. So I'll even pay the freight to send it to you. I'll just give it to you as a free gift from Mr. Wayne to you. Save the hassle of having to go down there and buy a battery and waste time looking for one. I stock them here. Might take me about 3-4 days to get it to you, shipping it and everything, but it'll be a brand new one. See, look, 3.3 volts. Okay, let's just try it first by sticking it in there. What you have to do, we'll probably take this little cover off with the desolder and pull it off. They'll probably have to clean all that corrosion and rust that's starting to build up on there. I don't know if this is going to solve it, but we're going to try. Alright, so when you go to put this battery in, you can't just shove it in there. I mean, you can, it might work, I don't know. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But what you usually have to do is to reset it. So take a screwdriver or a pocket knife or something and go underneath this little slot right here, this little opening right here. Go in there and you're going to touch this metal plate and this upper cover at the same time. Kind of go into like a 45-degree angle, touch both of them together, and hold it there for a moment. And take the new battery with the wording on it on top, which is the positive. Make that sure it's looking up at you. Put that in the slot, and as you slide it in, it's going to come in contact with the screwdriver. Which is going to hit it, and as it touches it, push it in, slowly bring it out. And if you do it right, it should automatically come back on, like that one did. This is the old style. The new style boards don't go back and forth KVA, KVA when you hit the button. They have the KV and the amps on the same screen at the same time. It have like a couple little dots on there. But either way, if it comes on, just make sure it comes on. I will take I don't think we're going to have to, let me pull the battery back out of there real quick. I'm going to clean that real quick. I'm going to see if I can just clean it by leaving it on there. And it's already starting to look better. All the corrosion that was right there is all gone. Slow that down for a second. There's a little corrosion on that switch. I don't want to break nothing. Let me get my contact cleaner here. We'll spray a little stuff on there. We're gonna clean it some more. And then I'll take a can of air, blow it off. Looks pretty good. Alright, let's reinstall that battery. Now I am going to go connect this onto a unit. Make sure it actually works still. Make sure it reads good. So we're going to put this cover back on. It goes on a certain way. And we're gonna, that's not too bad. Okay, make sure we push it from the front side. Okay, that still works. So let's grab, got a spare unit sitting here that we use for testing certain things. So we're going to take a Gallagher M360 and we're going to connect this across there. Now when you test a unit with the fault finder of any kind, you have to be touching ground and hot on the charger at the same time. You can't just hook just to the hot side when you're testing the energizer on its own, because when you're out in the field and you're holding one of these in your hand, there's a little ground spot here for a ground probe that snaps onto it. A lot of people lose them or don't use them. It's not a big deal, because when you're holding it in your hand, there's a little plate right back here, and through induction of your hand and everything, magnetic fields and all that magic stuff, uses your body as a ground. So when you're out there on the fence, you're actually touching ground and the hot at the same time, because your body's grounded to the ground. The charger's, touched to the ground, so it's all the same. But I don't have a ground probe with it, so I'm going to take a little piece of wire. I got a little alligator clip there. I'm going to put on top of the thing there, let it kind of bite up against the rest up against the little peg there, and we're going to pop this out, if it will. It's a little dirty up there. I'm going to have to clean that for him. Alright, now I'm going to turn the charger on, and then we're going to hook across here. Now these testers automatically turn on as soon as it detects the voltage because of magnetic field, so I'm going to just kind of go across there and see what it reads. 8.1 kV. Now we're going to switch over to amps. Make sure it reads amps. 35 amps. So this tester is working fine. The amps vary from model to model, brand to brand. The higher, the bigger the joule a unit is, the more amps it can read on a tester. So a half joule might read 2 amps, or 5 amps or whatever, and then a 1 joule might read 2 amps to 3, 4 amps or 10 amps or whatever. This read 36 amps. So it all depends on the joule of a unit, how high the amps will climb. So now let's go ahead and, while we're doing this video, let's show you how to clean behind here, because sometimes these buttons, that button gets a little spongy, like it is. It works. It's working now. It's got some crud built up in there. All right, so you're gonna need a small flat screwdriver that will fit inside the little Phillips spot, or you need a small Phillips screwdriver. Now there's a spring behind here that this little plunger pushes down on, and if you pull this open, pull the screw up and lift this up, if you're not paying attention, that spring will release and all these little pieces, some of the pieces will fly off and you'll never find them. So I always keep my finger on top of this. Keep my finger over the top of the big metal plate. Put my thumb over there and get that little screw off there. And then pull it off. Make sure you keep your finger on there. See that little spring right there, all compressed. Slowly lift your finger up. And there you go. So there's that little spring right there. See how long it is, how much it was compressed. There's also this little silver thing there. That's that little button that's in the center. That's what this piece is here. So let's see all the dirt and grime that's all built up in there. I need another can of air here in a minute, but let's just take a wire brush. So now it's nice and clean. Make sure there's sometimes a little crud gets built up on that. Same with that, you just kind of rub the dirt off there. Alright, so now we got to put it all back together and then try that button again. Alright, so this is the tricky part for people that don't understand how this thing goes back together. So you need to put the spring on here. You're going to keep your thumb over the front of that to kind of keep that spring down that little groove there. And then put your finger back on top so hold that little plunger thing, they call it, down. Make sure that this is straight and flat. You take this with the opening down, so there's an opening on it. Have it open down, and see there's a little nub at the bottom of right by my thumb. That's the button. So the flat part of it with the opening So the flat part goes in the bottom, and the opening is at the bottom. So put it in like that. All right, looks like it's good. Make sure you keep pressure on here so the frickin' spring doesn't release. And you want this back on the front, the A looking at you. Put that right there just to kind of get it in this little spot, and get your Phillips screwdriver or small flat blade screwdriver that fits in the little slot there. Come on. Get in there. There we go. Now, all done. So now we can put the screws back in it. Tool it to get. See, those, like I said, those dust caps don't do anything. But if you so if you lose them, don't worry about them. But this guy's had this thing for 10 years and still had them, so I'm going to put them back on there for him. So that's going good now. So there's a little button pops at the top if you need to use it. That little button there, press that and it turns it on. Cycles between kVA, kVA. Can't push it too fast because then it doesn't do it. So you gotta kind of give it a couple seconds, like every second or so you can press it. Well, that's done. That tester's raring to go, hold for another 10 plus years. But like I said, circuit boards are available. You know, so if that circuit board was all ate up, we can stick a new board in there, check the battery, put a new battery in if it needs it, and make it basically a brand new tester on the inside if need be. So it's not a throwaway deal, not like other brands. All right, well there's the information for you. If you got any other questions, get a hold of us. But hopefully this helps the person out. Until next time, see you later.